So, James, we've had the first player guest on this video episode of In the Huddle. It's time to go perhaps to a coach guest, and I'm going to reveal who it is. I think we already announced who it is, but I'm going to reveal who it is by way of, let's say, my top 25 ballot. Let's see here. Some of the usual suspects here. Name any names that jump out at you while I do this. But you can see down, we get into the former Hobart zone, which is now going to be occupied by Brockport State down there. And Wabash, Thomas More, Whitworth. Hey, who's that, James?
Well, giving the Springfield Pride some love in the top 25. I know they ended up in the number one spot in the Matt Noonan New England Division III football poll by way of a big come-from-behind victory on Saturday for the pinch and saw. First time Springfield has beaten the Golden Bears in about 4 seasons, and I bet I know a certain coach who's probably pretty happy about that.
Well, let's bring him in. Mike Cerasuolo, Springfield College.
Yeah.
He has got the Frank Rossi kiss of death now because basically he's got a point for me on my top 25 ballot. And Coach Mike, number 25s historically have not fared too well. I probably should put you at 24 if I was rooting for you. But, Coach, congratulations on the big win.
No, thank you very much. And again, thanks for having us on and having an opportunity to talk a little bit about the game and moving forward with our kids.
Coach, welcome back to the show. I mean, it's 14-0 at halftime. I looked away from this game, to be honest with you. I thought Western New England was being Western New England. It's a long road trip for this game every week, so you're probably not looking forward to the bus trip / walk home. But at the same time, what were you telling your team at halftime? That had to be some rousing halftime speech because you basically doubled them up in the third quarter, 28 I think the 14 was the third quarter score. What'd you say?
Yeah. Well, not exactly, but.
Yeah, we just tried to keep our kids composed, and again, it's a full game, and we talk to them all the time about being able to finish and having the opportunity again to have 30 more minutes and kind of do things a little better than we did them in the first half, and we felt like that our kids definitely did that, and they played hard, and they played extremely hard for all 4 quarters, and I think. Obviously, we did some things better in that second half than we did in the first half and able to turn the ball over a little bit and able to keep the ball off the ground on our end. So we really don't get that rah-rah stuff in the locker room and everything. It's more for the kids to, focus on what they got to do and then go out and do it.
Yeah, and that really seemed to be the case. I mean, that first drive of the second half, covered 72 yards and 12 plays, took about 4.5 minutes. Was that really just – was there any kind of a different offensive package that you put in there, or was it basically, hey, guys, we're just going to go out and do what we do and just execute and we'll be all right?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is we talk about, attitude, effort, and execution, and we definitely had the attitude in the first half. We opened the game up with a great drive, hurt ourselves in a couple situations with some penalties and whatnot, and we're able to overcome a lot of that in the second half. And, again, it really came down to the execution. We changed up a couple little things here and there, both offensively and defensively, and it gave us an opportunity to get back into the game with that first drive in the second half. And I thought that brought a lot of excitement to the sidelines and the kids. Again, that's what we talked about. Hey, it's just one drive. We're one drive away from getting back in this thing and where we need to be and getting back on track. And again, we made those little adjustments offensively and defensively played extremely well in the second half, limited them to a little over 100 yards, I think, in offense the second half. So we did a really good job on both sides of the ball. Just with the execution side of things, we had a couple of real long drives offensively where the kids were just 4 or 5 yards here at a clip, and even when we got behind the chains a little bit, they were able to overcome that with some good plays and execution wise, and defensively we were forcing a lot of 3-and-outs and getting the ball back into the offense's hand.
Yeah, definitely a couple of stats that jump out at me is, the fact that your defense held the Bears to only 70 yards rushing, about a 2.3 average gain per rush. Looks like, you had a couple of sacks, held their time of possession to only 19:29. So that's a good way to beat a quarterback like Service, and 2 of 9 on third down. I mean, I think a lot of times, Coach, everyone thinks of Springfield College and they hear, they know the 400 yards rushing a game, one of the top rushing teams in the nation. But I think what may be the difference maker this season and is flying under the radar a little bit is this defense that you have. They definitely performed really well on Saturday.
Yeah, our defense was moving around quite a bit Saturday, and I mean we got some great senior leadership over there with some of our guys, and our defensive line we thought played extremely well, and Marlo in the back end of things, our free safety making all the checks and adjustments to get us in the right looks that we wanted to, and our linebacking core we feel is very strong and strong both as far as the physical aspect, but the mental side of the game too is that they're constantly keeping the guys up on the sidelines and throughout practice, and our kids they just ran to the ball. They were able to track down some very good players over on Winu's sideline there and did some things defensively, and I think a lot of it has to do with just their effort level, and that's how they practice every single day, and that's the expectation, and they went out and performed come Saturday. So we're really proud of the effort that the kids put forth on both sides of the ball, but defensively, I mean, that's an explosive offense, and they did a really good job containing that thing and giving us an opportunity to get the ball back and get back on track offensively.
And you are in the huddle with head coach Mike Cerasuolo of Springfield College and that 35-21 upset. And by the way, you're right, JB, it was 28-21 at the end of the third quarter, not 28-14. You make your mistakes. You have to own up to them. I have to do the same. And among other things, Coach, a lot of people have been asking us, why were we, still doing this show, but broadening out to the East region? And it's guys like you and your school, Brian McGoffin and company, that have been great friends of ours throughout the years. And, Mike Toop down at Merchant Marine Academy, we've had some great friendships that we wanted to keep alive. That's why we broadened out the show. But it also means we have to focus on the teams in the other conferences. I want to talk a little bit about what's changed about Western New England, because they were on my ballot coming into this. And we were talking to the Brockport quarterback yesterday about, what may have changed about Hobart since last year. What are you seeing different maybe about Western New England coming out of this game? What did you expect to see, and what ended up happening? Was it more a case of your team's gotten better, or have things changed with Western New England from what you can tell?
I can't speak on that. If I can just talk about Springfield College and just, again, since last November, our kids have just been truly committed to the entire process throughout the entire year, and just, working extremely hard for what they want most over what they want in a certain moment in time. And we're trying to get them to understand that it's all part of the process, and it takes a lot of hard work on a lot of different parts, as far as whether it's strength and conditioning, our athletic counselors, our athletic administration, like he's talked about, Brian. There's so many people involved in order for us to be successful. And again, we're just trying to just get a little bit better each day. And the kids, they did that. They lived in the process, opposed to thinking about, hey, what's down the road and everything else like that. And it was a big win for the program moving forward. And like we talked to them about yesterday, that's great. We'll have an opportunity to celebrate that on Saturday. Then we're moving on. We had practice yesterday. Kids were refocused on, the next job at hand. And that was, again, getting out there Sunday and working out a little bit and getting ready to play Kean University this weekend.
The diplomat, just like Coach DeLong was right there with that answer, James. He picked that up from him for many years.
Well, he transitioned perfectly, because I wanted to talk a little bit about Kean. I mean, it's kind of an unusual pairing to see, a New England school go up against one of the NJAC teams. And I know that Kean did play WPI in an ECAC Bowl a season or two ago. So on one hand, this will be their first game coming in week 2. Sometimes I think that's a disadvantage. Sometimes it's an advantage. Guys are healthy. But I'm sure, Coach, you've probably seen this quarterback app. It's not for your iPhone. It's actually their senior QB. He has some legs. He can throw. Definitely a lot of dangerous weapons on that Kean University team. So give us a little scouting report on what you've seen so far on the Cougars.
Yeah, just again, because we haven't played them before ever, and so there is that unknown factor about them. But obviously, the conference that they're in and some of the opponents that they've played and some of the similarities, just conference-wise, going against those teams, it feels very similar to our Liberty League or Empire 8 matchup back in the day. as far as they're big, they're physical, they're fast. I mean, they're going to be a great test for our team, and we're excited about it because, again, it's another big game and a big non-conference game for us, and kind of see where we're at with things at this point in the season as well, and be able to now, hey, we put one good game together, or I should say one good half together, and let's try to do it for 60 minutes and not put ourselves behind the chains a little bit in the first half there, and be competitive throughout the entire game, not just in the second half rather. So we're excited again to line up and play them. I think it's going to be a great game, a great atmosphere with our home opener, and again, one of the 3 teams we're playing this year that we've never played before. So that's exciting. I think it's exciting for our kids from New Jersey, and we try to get some of our non-conference games against teams regionally that we draw from in the recruiting side of things. So a lot of our Jersey guys probably know kids on their team and vice versa. So, and then when we go down there next year, it gives a lot of those kids an opportunity. The parents, they only have to take that short trip, and so that I think it's beneficial for everybody. It's probably, I'd like to think they think it's a good opener for them as well, as far as opportunity to play a good team, and probably a little bit unique as far as the style of offense. But we're excited again to line it up this Saturday in home opener.
Coach, I'm not trying to give away company secrets when I ask this question, but at the end of the day, the triple option offense is one of those things that people think they figure out, and then you can drop 500 yards on them when it comes to any given game. What are the keys? I mean, in a season where you think you've got the right composition in the triple option, what are the keys to having the right composition? We've seen Merchant Marines start to do well. They have a quarterback in Bryce Moore that's a good passing quarterback. He can, cock back and throw whenever he wants with some accuracy. What composition do you look for in your triple option offense to make sure you've got the right thing going for you year to year? And I'm sure Coach DeLong had the same philosophy as you did as you state them.
Yeah, the number one thing offensively is selflessness. I mean, because this past weekend, for example, Jordan Wilcox, our fullback, touched the ball 30 times, and then some of the other kids might only get it 4 or 5 times. And then, the wide receivers are asked to do a lot of things on the perimeter as far as blocking wise, and they might only get one ball thrown to them, throughout the course of an entire game. And so I think the kids got to be selfless. It's got to be all 11, and just the willingness to perform for others, not just yourself at all times. And we got a good group of kids this year that really bought into that, and over the years in general. So that I think that's the key factor for us. And then, just the attitude that they have to play with the style of offense. And we tell the kids it's a downhill, straightforward type of attack, and you got to have that type of mindset going into it. Is that we're happy with the 4-yard gain, and you got to be happy with that. And Kings Point does a great job with what they're doing down there, and byproduct of that is their offensive coordinator, Springfield grad, and their quarterback coaches as well. So we always joke with them about that. But they do a great job, and Bryce is a heck of a quarterback as well. And that kid, he runs it extremely well. And we're fortunate here to have a couple kids that run it well, with Jake and with Chad. And again, they're able to get the ball in the appropriate players' hands, making their reads and their adjustments. And so I think, like I said, the key factor is just that selfless attitude within the team that. I'll do whatever's asked of me.
Well, bad news is that Bryce Moore and company are still on your schedule, as the NUMAC included them as well as a package deal. Yeah, we lost you, unfortunately, as a conference with the Liberty League, but that's, again, why we branched out. JB, close this out here. I know you got a couple last questions.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Jake Eglantine. He had a big game, 3 touchdowns, went 4 for 8 in passing, and we've mentioned in the past the somewhat the surprise factor in the triple option offense is if in fact you do have a quarterback that can drop back and throw a few every once in a while to keep defenses honest. Tell us a little bit about what you thought of Jake's game and how he's looked so far this season.
Yeah, Jake, we felt performed extremely well, obviously, on Saturday. And again, was it perfect? No, but he did a lot of good things and put us in a lot of good positions to be able to execute the offense. And he had a couple big runs, and he had a couple big physical runs as well. So, being able to get to his nose on certain carries and moving the chains for us. But thought he did really well. And when, we were able to get him some protection, and the receivers did some nice things out there, both blocking, but also made some big catches for us at points. And Tyler Hyde had a big catch, for a big gain on a vertical route. So that was good to see as well, to get some completions in the pass game. I can't remember the last time we had a receiver catch 2 balls in one game, so that was a big deal for those kids. But it was, the execution was definitely on point in the second half, more so than in the first half. So we're pleased with the direction that we're going in. And again, it's a good first game, but there's a lot of work to be done. But we tell the kids all the time, if we get the right group of kids in the room, then we'll get it accomplished.
Coach, didn't see it coming. I said it yesterday in some of the stuff that we recorded, but I did not see this result coming. The guy below me here actually kept saying to me all week last week, don't count out Springfield in this game.
Right.
Yeah, don't look up at me like that, JB. I know you're looking at me. It's like the Brady Bunch suddenly, the way we set this thing up. But Coach,
we had a big
congratulations.
At the game too. We had Luke Bradley at the game, so it was great to have him on the field with us and leading the team out. And he was able to, at the end of the game, he went with the captains to get the trophy. So, I mean, that was awesome experience for Luke and awesome for our kids just to see that and them chanting his name and him high-fiving guys on the sideline and stuff. And I think he gave the best halftime talk out of anybody. His kids were going up to him and stuff, and all he kept saying is stay strong. Stay strong, and that's what Luke's done his entire life as well. So our kids feed off that energy that he provides. So again, I think that was a real special moment for the guys on the team and for the program, having him back with us.
Do 2 things for us, actually. Look straight into the camera and give him a shout out, say hello to him, and we'll make sure he tries to see this. And also explain what the effort was, how you guys got linked up with Luke, because we have a lot of new viewers and listeners this year. So explain what it all means here.
Yeah, Luke. We drafted Luke as part of Team Impact, a nonprofit organization that pairs up kids with life-threatening illnesses and diseases and whatnot with teams throughout the country now. And I mean, it's been one of the best experiences our team has been involved in, as far as a lot of the community outreach projects that we do. But this has by far has been extremely special to our team and to Luke as well. And whatever we've given Luke, he's given us 10 times in return, as far as just his perspective and his fight and his relentless attitude. And, he's a big John Cena fan, so, he always says never give up. And he's never given up, and our team hasn't either. And we just try to feed off of his energy anytime he's around us. I know during the summer we went to one of South Hadley, had a youth combine camp, and Luke was out there, and he's trying to run around and stuff like that. And he ran a 40-yard dash, and he clocked in at 29 seconds. He fell a couple times, and our kids were there. And he got back up and he let me do that again. And he came back and ran in 23 seconds. So, I mean, it's just, he's a grinder, and he's unbelievable, and the family's unbelievable. And, just to support that, hopefully we provided them as well as he's provided us, has been extremely special. So we're proud to be a part of Team Impact and what they represent. I think it's a great relationship with the college. We have a lot of other teams on campus involved in it as well. And I think every single team, I think we're one of the top schools in the country right now with the amount of teams associated with Team Impact. And I know we got a couple more trying to get on board with it as well. So our involvement with that as far as campus-wide has been tremendous.
And Luke, don't worry. James and I, our 40-yard times are somewhere in the 30s, so you actually would beat us on those, and we wouldn't even be falling. That's the scary thing. We're that slow. We're older and not much wiser anymore. Coach, we want to let you go. It's Labor Day, and you're in the office, which doesn't exactly work out.
There's no days off when you're a football coach, Frank.
Yeah, exactly. Never ends. But thanks so much for joining us, and congratulations, and good luck against Kean coming up here. Send our best to everybody back at Springfield. We do appreciate what you guys do for us as well.
We definitely will. And again, thank you for all that you do for Division III football. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Coach Mike Cerasuolo joined us here in the huddle. And James, as we say, people that are watching this, stay tuned throughout the week. We're going to have more coverage. We're going to have crunch time. We're going to have lightning predictions later in the week. We're going to take a break for the rest of the day ourselves, though, because it is Labor Day. So if you're watching this on Monday,
that's right.
Share it and let people know we have these interviews up here, and then we'll come back tomorrow with some more content as well. So for now, happy Labor Day, James.
You too, Frank.